Okay. Pressed record. A day late and $1 short. I know, but I'm back in the studio. You know, life sometimes just gets in the way. And it's funny because I kept pushing it. Like this weekend, it was, Mr. Wright and I went to the country club. We played golf. We had a really fun putting tournament and then stayed the night in a hotel. And then the next day it was football Sunday. And we actually got to watch his game because he works on the weekends usually. And I just wanted to spend like quality time with him. And then Monday I wasn't feeling good. So I kept pushing the episode. And yesterday, you know what I wanted to do? So I came home and I was like, okay, I need to get in the studio. But I was like, I really want Thanksgiving dinner. I just had my mind set on Thanksgiving dinner. And Mr. Wright told me he was coming home a little early. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to make myself some Thanksgiving dinner, which by the way, it was so fire, as my daughter would say, or bus. And it was like the perfect night. And I got to spend a lot of quality time with Mr. Wright and my daughter. And we had a really good time. So apologies. Sometimes life happens. Speaking of, I wanted to tell you guys something because I feel like I don't know, like some people will say to me, Adrian, life looks so good. And we all know, online, everything looks amazing. And everything just seems to be going so well all the time. And especially when you're online. And I just want to say something like Mr. Wright and I have an incredible relationship. We really do. But I felt like something happened last weekend. And I was like, you know what? I want to tell my cravers about this because this is real. I would say 99.9% of the time, we are best friends, lovers, all the above. I mean, really, truly, life could not be any better with him. And we get along so well and we're incredibly happy. However, he can get on my goddamn nerves and I can get on his as well. And I just want to put that out there because it may seem so perfect. And I know my love story with him is like, happily ever after. And I'm so in love with him and so happy. But sometimes things happen. And I've talked about on the show too, like old Adrian versus new Adrian. And sometimes old Adrian likes to creep back in. So something happened last week. And I'm not going to get into details because it's personal, And I find myself not wanting to share everything because he's the love of my life. However, he did something that I'd already talked to him about. And I was and honestly, I was talking to Zach. And Zach was like, Adrian, this is a you problem. This is not a him problem. This is a you problem. But I got my feels about it a little bit and I was really rude to him. And I was disrespectful. I kind of snapped at him a little bit. And we ended up, the one thing about me and him is that when we have we need to talk about something, we have something come up or we need to say something to each other, we say it immediately. And I also have this rule where I don't argue about the same thing twice. Well, this is the second time and I broke my rule because old Adrian crept back in. And it wasn't that huge of a deal, but we had talked it out and he was like, Adrian, I love you so much. And I was like, I love you too. But the next day I was still feeling pretty shitty about my behavior. And it wasn't like an argument. I'm not a yeller and neither is he, but it was definitely me just showing some vulnerabilities and insecurities that I have. Again, it's a me problem and I had to go take a look in the mirror. I sent him a text the next day and I said, look, I'm going to fall on my sword here a little bit for you. I said, you didn't deserve that. And my reaction was not appropriate. And I'm really sorry. Like I would never, and he was like, Adrian, you don't have to, he was like, it's fine. He's like, I love you. He's like, I love you with all my heart. Like I love you more than anything in the world. And we had like this exchange, but I thought I need to do something a little bit more because I don't know. I just love him so much and I didn't mean to act that way on my insecurity. And so what I did was I know he needed some alone time. He had been working a lot. And I think that was part of the discord was like, we haven't been seeing each other. We didn't have sex in a few days and I was feeling a little vulnerable about that and a little disconnected, which that's my fault for not sharing that with him. He is not a mind reader and he works incredibly long hours in the restaurant business and he needs some alone time. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take the day, go out and about, do my thing. And I did. So I ran a bunch of errands and one of them was I went to my favorite sex shop down the street and I got him a stroker, and I got him a card, and I said, sorry I was a jerk, and I underlined jerk a bunch of times. I said, enjoy the day off, and then I underlined off a bunch of times, like, have the release, enjoy yourself, you know. But I just want to tell you, because like things happen, but what I love about Mr. Right and I is that we always have resolve, and he's done some dumb stuff too, and he's like, I'm so sorry, and like, I don't know, it's just this mutual love and respect that we have for each other. But I wanted to tell you about it because this is real life. Okay. So, moving into today's episode, I want to talk to you about foreplay ideas, because like I was saying, and like I've said in episodes before, what's really tough is Mr. Right and I have opposite schedules, and we have to actually like make the time, especially with my daughter home and stuff. Like, we have to make the time for each other. And one of the ways that we do is foreplay starting outside of the bedroom. So every idea today is going to be foreplay that you could do with your partner outside the bedroom to spice things up, to get things going, to make things hot before you even hit the sheets together. All right? So let's get right into it. Something that I love, and it's both of our love languages, is physical touch. It's funny because I get a little bitchy when I don't have sex all the time. Like, every day would be great for me. And so it's funny because like in those times and those moments, I think to myself, Adrian, like, we have so much physical intimacy outside the bedroom. He's always touching me, rubbing my feet, touching my leg, holding my hands. Like, he holds my hands so much. I've never held hands with someone like the way I do with him. And I actually really love that. He rubs my head. He's just such a physical touch person, and I love that. Or something I love is like a really long hug. Or in the middle of the night, he'll kiss my face a couple times. Also come up behind me and give me a kiss on the back of the neck. Or I'll do that to him when he's making dinner, or vice versa. And something else too is like other touches, like inner thigh or the back of the legs. Like, there's all these different things. But having that physical touch consistently outside of the bedroom makes a difference. Especially, like, I just love like a nice like long hug and some kisses on the neck. Something else that I really do is I'm always like touching his ear. Like, I'll like stroke his hair back and like rub his earlobe. Little things like that. But that creates like that intimacy. Okay. Also, sexting. And I want to read you something that I did today, because sexting can seem very overwhelming if you're not comfortable with it, but it doesn't have to be graphic or, you know, really explicit. It could be something as simple as a schedule. So today I text Mr. Ray and I said, coming up, mega weekend. It's my daughter's 13th birthday this weekend. I cannot believe I have a teenager, and we have a couple days off, and we have the Redskins game Monday night, and we just have a lot of fun stuff coming up. And so I said, today, miss you, because he's at work. I'm not going to see him until tomorrow. I said, tomorrow, morning blowjob. And I said, you know, we have a fun night of plans and dinner and the Eagles-Giants game. I said, Friday, I want to have morning sex, and then we're going to take my daughter out to dinner for her birthday. And then Saturday, party, and then other things. And I just listed out all the things I want to do to him. And again, it's not that graphic. And then he responded and he was like, oh my God, I love it. Yes, I'm so excited for this weekend. But guess what? He's thinking about it. He's charged up for it. And he knows also that I have like the expectation of like, I want to get all this time in together. That's something that I never realized is so vital to me before. And so, sexting. And again, you can send a sexy photo that's also really hot, or sex your partner from across the room if you guys are out with friends, or you're at a dinner party, or, you know, at the country club, in the sim, you know, whatever, and text and say, I can't wait to get you home, or send them like a really sexy text. Or it was funny because everything I was asking Zach about foreplay ideas that he uses outside the bedroom, and he was like, send a dick pic, send a nude, and I'm like, calm down a little bit. Okay, so sexting, another big one. Also, this is something that I love to do, and it's dressing up, like really dressing up. And I find myself, you know, a year and a half later, still I'm always like wanting to look beautiful and impress Mr. Right. I love when he compliments me, and that's another thing that we're going to talk about. But so dressing up, like, get into full glam. Get a new perfume. By the way, if you want some ideas, I absolutely love the Versace Dylan Purple, and the Ariana Grande Blue Cloud is so good. I love hers too. But, you know, do something different. You know, show your partner like how beautiful you are. They know on the inside, but also the outside too. And it also is look good, feel good, makes you feel sexy, makes you want to get it on. So dress up and treat yourself. Another thing is I was talking about, like Mr. Right will rub my feet or rub my back, and it's that physical touch, but more like a massage, like when you're laying on the couch and watching TV, or when you're standing with your partner in line and they start rubbing your shoulders. It gets that physical touch going. And I feel like that's going to be leading to the bedroom. So that is foreplay, okay? Another thing that I think is pretty underestimated when it comes to relationships, and as relationships progress, right? You're out of the honeymoon phase. I think a lot of us forget to make out. It's something I really try to work on and do as much as I can with Mr. Right. And I feel like we do kiss a lot, but also Mr. Right is like my best kisser ever. And I just absolutely love making out with him. And don't underestimate the power of like a little make out session in the kitchen or in the car when you're waiting. Whatever, like different places where you guys can make out and touch each other. But kissing, like a real make out session, is so hot and really gets you charged up and ready to go. I was thinking about, I remember when I was in like high school, we had like kissing competitions. Think that with your partner right now. So let's add that to the list. Make out again, okay? Another thing that I really love, that I feel like is a major form of foreplay outside the bedroom, is love notes. Little notes here and there. And that's something that Mr. Right and I do all the time. I'll leave a note in the refrigerator on his dinner when he gets home late, like I'm going to do tonight, or in his laptop bag, or he's traveling, he's going golfing in 2 weeks, and I'm going to put like a little card, or if I ever leave and, head somewhere, I leave him a card or a little note, a Post-it. It could be so simple, right? These little love notes, like I'll say things like, I can't wait to get home to you and your big cock. Like you can make it really sexy. Or, like I said, we work these opposite schedules, and I did a scavenger hunt with Post-it notes. So I know his like trail when he comes home. Take off his shoes, put down his bag, open the fridge, get something to eat. And so I put these Post-it notes, like a fun little game with like jokes and inside stuff that we have together. And he loved that. He sent me, and so the next morning when I left for work, he left me a note. Because like I said, our schedule sometimes we see each other in passing. And it was really fun and really cute. And also it's just like, hey, and remind your partner, right? Like, hey, can't wait for this weekend. That it's foreplay outside of the bedroom. Okay, another thing that I want to talk about is gifting your partner a toy. You guys know I love Tracy's dog. I wanted to show you the OG collection, which made Tracy's dog famous, honestly. And I highly recommend these toys. I'm a huge fan of OG Flo. Here's the original if you're watching on YouTube. Sorry for the bumping. Love her, but the OG Flo is like so soft and beautiful, and like I feel like her clit sucker is a little wider. And then you have the OG 3, which is 2 toys in one, which is really fun because you can have like a larger vibrator or just a straight up clit sucker. So this is great if you're with a partner. But the OG line at Tracy's Dog, and then we have OG Pop. She's not in here because she's upstairs. I use her all the time. Highly recommend. Treat your partner to a toy. And my pro tip for that is allow your partner, like I did with Mr. Right with the stroker, allow your partner to use the toy by themselves first. It could be super intimidating, even for someone like me who has 1,000 toys, to try a new one with my partner, because I'm like, wait, let me try to figure this out. I want to see how this fits in my, with my body. I want to see how this is going to make me climax. And so allow your partner to treat themselves to that, and they're going to be thinking about you and thanking you. And so a toy is a really great gift to get things going outside of the bedroom. I love tracysdog.com, and if you use code CRAVERS20, that's CRAVERS 20, you get 20% off your entire order, which is amazing. And while you're in your cart, get yourself a XOXO. This is a vibrator that is great for everybody, even the earliest beginners, and she's whisper quiet, packs a powerful punch, and you can use this for the first time with a partner because she's just so easy to use. And it works on men and women, so I absolutely love the XOXO as well. Okay, so gifts, we talked about that. Another thing, and something that I really love in relationships, is when you're constantly complimenting one another. And it's funny because I even do this with my friends. It builds connection with you. It makes somebody really like you, right? Like, and when somebody does it to you, it makes you feel really good. I love when Mr. Right compliments how I smell or how I look, or I'll say, look, you look really good, babe. Or wow, that outfit looks amazing on you. Or hey, that skirt, whatever. And it's like, oh, I feel sexy, and it makes me want to have sex, okay? So just compliment your partner though, and it can go a really long way, especially for people who have mismatched sex drives. I know a lot of the time that is the case. And even for me, sometimes I feel like I want it more. That's always kind of been an issue. And the complimenting, like, you look so good. I want to, you look so great. Those jeans look so good on you. I can't wait to get you out of them. Little things like that, sprinkling that foreplay, get you there. Okay. Another thing too with like complimenting is flirt with your partner. Take it back to the days when you were dating. I have to remind myself of that even now. Flirt with them, tease them, touch them. Like, all of these things combined outside the bedroom is what's going to help you get in there and want each other, to desire each other. That's a really big deal. So complimenting, flirting, and then, showing that affection, the touching. Holding hands, by the way, is such an intimate thing, and I think a lot of us forget about. I remember when Mr. Right and I were in Grenada every night before on the way to dinner, and he would grab my hand, and I absolutely love that. Like, I need to actually do that for him. I feel like he's always trying to hold my hand, and I'm actually going to reciprocate and do that back to him now that I'm thinking about it. And again, listen, like, it's not like you have to do all these things at once, but it's little consistent things here and there that really just keeps the passion burning between you and your partner. Another thing that you could do, if you want to really spice things up, is reminisce about a hot tale. Now, you can sext them and send them, hey, remember when we got that hotel room last month? That was really hot. And I think next time we should bring it from the bed to that couch over there. Like, let's put that on the list. And your partner's like, oh, hey now, yes, I want to do that. And they're going to come home and they're going to say, I loved how you were talking about that today. That sounds really hot and sexy. And you're going to have sex that night, okay? Another thing too is I like to remind people that when you do things for your partner, and you not only do them, but then you also appreciate what your partner does for you, that's huge as well. I remember when I was married, I had none of that. And I remember him asking me for sex, and I was like, well, allow me to now take care of you after I took care of everything else. So remember, it's give and take, and a lot of that stuff goes a long way, especially for men. Not that women, it's both ways, I know, but that's what it was for me. And I remember being like, oh, the last thing I want to do right now is satisfy you because I've been taking care of everything. I have no help, whatever. I had a lot of anger and discourse back then about contempt. Yeah, once you have contempt in your relationship, by the way, so anyway, so appreciate your partner. Show them lots of love. Also, be playful with each other, right? Tease each other. I actually saw someone say that it might be fun, like, to wrestle with your partner. I kind of want to do that. I also want to try that artwork. You guys ever seen that like naked artwork? I think that'd be a lot of fun too. My mind could race all day long with foreplay ideas. But my hot homework for you today is I want you to try one of these ideas, or a few, right? Like, sprinkle them in and think to yourself, like, am I consistently showing my partner love, physical touch, connection? Am I flirting with them? Like, when's the last time we've really had a good makeout session? And implement them and get things going in the bedroom. I don't care what anyone says. When you have great physical intimacy with each other, and remember, it's not just straight up penetration. This could be holding hands with each other, rubbing each other's feet or while laying, cuddling on the couch, whatever. When you have that connection, it sure as hell does solve a lot of other issues outside the bedroom. So I'm just going to put that out there. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with these ideas. And if you have any other ideas, send them my way, because I keep like a fantasy list with Mr. Right. Hit me up over on Instagram. I'm at Midlife Craving. And then I don't know if you know this, but you can always reach out to me and share a story or tell me something or ask me anything over on the website, midlifecraving.com. And remember, if you want to get an OG toy from tracysdog.com, do not forget to use that Cravers20 discount code to get 20% off your entire order. 'Tis the season to give the gift that keeps on coming, pun intended. It's time to start, loading up on those toys and treating your partner. And if you have any questions about eating the toy, you can always reach out to me as well. All right. I feel like I'm racing through because I want to go upstairs. I'm starving. And I want to tell you, though, Zach is going to come back for the next episode. I'm going to talk about a touchy subject. And it's men on the DL, or like men that are bisexual, and like how tough it is. I have a couple of friends in the lifestyle, and I have some friends, those of you that are my cravers, who talk to me about this, and I want to talk about it. And Zach's the perfect partner for this. And so we'll get into that, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I'm not going to be late, I promise. But if I am, you could punish me. I don't like it. All right. See you guys next week. I can't help myself. I literally cannot help myself.